Here I am. Hey guys, I'm so happy to see. I got California in the house. I got Colorado in the house. On stage, I've got Nebraska and New York getting ready to come up here and share some fun with you. But first, I want to do just a little check-in with everybody. I want to remind you why we do this show, and I want to give you a little bit of update since last week. So first of all, I am Jackie Hallberg, and I am from the state of Michigan. So glad to see you guys here and glad to share some amazing people. So Jax Guests came about between my two loves of talking about travel and doing Trippin' with Jax's a travel talk with Jax and my re-entry focus of voices and re-entry, and kind of combined it into one, and being able to hype people that are important to me. Either their vision is important, we've reached out in some capacity, they've supported me, they've supported other people through different social media or through their businesses. And so that's where the guests came in, because some of these people, I may not even know them yet. Noni's here on YouTube. Thank you for that. And Noah, thank you so much. You know Mr. Bill, one of our guests tonight. I'm so glad about that. And Chrissy, I see you too. I appreciate Jane and Charles and everybody that's here. So a couple things. So first of all, keep in mind what you see isn't always reality, okay? So you might think that I'm just kind of chill and it's been just a super easy day. Guys, I worked a 12-hour day. We had a brand new building that finally had participants in it. And we did not have one new participant. We had 4 on our first day being in a new building. So my brain has been going and trying to get everything wrapped up. I appreciate Michelle and Annette's here too. And I got everything pretty much going, feeling pretty good. Got my lights going, got my 2 laptops going. And then guess what I did? Rookie mistake. I tripped over my own cords. Guys, I nearly face planted and I could have probably hurt myself very badly and the show would not have happened. I jacked up my arm pretty good, scraped it, bruised it. It's kind of swollen. It's kind of fun trying to be normal while that's going on. So as we're talking, if you're just like, man, she's done so much, he's done so much, I'm not there. Guess what? Don't compare yourself, guys. You are an amazing person. You have so much to give, even if you're not doing shows, even if you haven't published a book, even if you don't volunteer and teach courses and everything else that goes on. Keep in mind, you are worthy no matter what. This is not a competition. This is not a judgment. We just want to be respectful, and we want to make sure people understand that life can be wild and wonderful, but it is good stuff. So thank you guys very much for understanding that. I also want to talk about, this was kind of a wild weekend for some people. Some people very much into the Easter celebration. You know, that is their thing. That's what they do for either church or for family and different things like that, which is wonderful and great if that's how you celebrate or if that's where you believe or what you end up doing. But I also know that there was a whole lot of stuff going on around the United States, and there was a lot of protests and there was a lot of rallies. And it was something that was pretty cool to see that people want to be together in certain things, whether you are for or against some of the things that were being done and protested about. It's really important that we take a minute to actually think about what is going on for other people around the world and thinking about what you value in terms of togetherness. Okay. So that is one of the topics for tonight, is really that connectedness, being together with other people and making sure that it feels like you belong and that you're worthy, because I really think that's where that tension happens. And that's where people start to forget who they are, and they sometimes align with things that don't feel right to them. So I really want to make sure you realize that connectedness doesn't have to be somebody that's involved in this kind of a group or this. You can be connected with so many great people, but you have to want to do it. And that's the one thing that I want to talk about. And I want to share something real quick. So I have not had to put together an Easter basket in a very long time. But I have this really cool book club that we do a lot of things for people in the community. I put this little ask out there and I said, hey, would you be willing to help us sponsor this community Easter basket giveaway that was going on with a group called Taking Back Muskegon right here in my hometown? And my book club, they showed up, guys. Look at all that stuff they donated. The group was hoping to raise 200 baskets. They got close to their goal, and book club got to do part of it. So when you're feeling connected, it doesn't even have to be people you've never even met before. It may be people you're never going to see again. Guys, you can volunteer and not ever be able to know who you put a smile on their face or who you helped along. So I just wanted to show that little thing, because talking about connectedness, it's important to realize that your value is so important no matter what you do or how you do it. So I just wanted to share that little thing. And then I want to tell you a couple other things. So I see some other people joining. Thank you guys so much. Make sure that if you have a question for either of our upcoming guests, they're going to come up soon, Bill Hobbs and Nick. We are so excited. And I didn't know if he was in the house yet or not. So this is Ave. If you guys have been in the last 2 shows, he's been commenting on YouTube. So I brought up some of his posts. He was asking so many great questions of Damien last time. He is actually one of the members of Taking Back Muskegon. So it was really cool to be able to help somebody that I know and somebody that I see doing so much good in our community, especially for the kiddos. So put some questions going. Let's start thinking about what we want to ask Bill and Nick. They come from kind of 2 different worlds, but they've been in a ton of groups and stuff together. And then I just want to share one last thing before I get Nick up on stage. She's coming first on stage, because if you don't know, I don't know how you could not know, but Nick is a publisher. She is also a co-author, because she's written in books that I've been in, which is super cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about books. You can see them on my shelf back here, because I'm really proud of those. But this weekend, how can you say it? I binged, but not TV, not even food. I binged this book. So this was our book club book. We got it last week, and I opened it late Saturday night, and I finished it Sunday afternoon. Guys, that is a big book. So one thing about me is I love to write and I love to read. I will not, and Nick, I hope this doesn't offend you, but I will not read the back cover of a book before I open it. I will take people's words. Hey, this is about this topic, or hey, you might like this. Or if it's book club, I got to read it unless I totally forget. But this book, An American Marriage, I don't know this author at all. I'm not trying to promote her to any other reason other than this book gave me all the feels, like all the feels. Those of you that know that I talk about reentry, and I talk about the criminal justice world, and I talk about racism, and I try to talk about making the world a better place, and I talk about my own privilege. It's kind of got all that in this book. So that's all I'm going to share about that. If you're a book reader, definitely encourage you to read that one, just because it was so intense and so great. Okay, who's ready for Miss Nicole? Are you ready? Because I'm so ready. Oh my goodness, I need to get her on stage right now. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm sorry, I tried not to laugh. It was so funny. Just before I came on, my tongue growled. I'm like, will you stop?
That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. And I would say that on live too, wouldn't I? Oh my goodness. I just think it's funny. I just think it's because it's just never in control. That's me. That's all of us. Thank you so much for having me.
Never in control. So Nick does a show. It used to be every week, and then it was like every 2 weeks, and now it's every random time because she's doing so much. But her show, Never in Control, was on Sunday mornings at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, a time when I don't really have anything to do, except I don't want to be forced to do something. After her first show, I literally put it in my calendar. One of the very first shows that I put in there that I wasn't doing, that I'm like, you cannot miss her show, because it was so great. You started, that was your first real, like, consistent show that you were doing, right, Nick?
Yeah, that was my audio. It started last year. And then it ended up the Nick Devon Controls a Live Show spinoff that was every other Saturday night. And, things evolve. We evolve. That's it. And I'm still going to be doing them, just not as regularly as I hope to. But, you have to make room for more. So that's exactly what's happening.
I love that. Well, I want to have you hype all your stuff. You've got so many things. But before we do that, you and Bill are my first time having 2 guests. So I have so many different, like, pictures I want to show for you and pictures for Bill. But do you know there's a limit you can put in the background. I had no idea. I was just starting to save them all and putting them up. So I might end up pulling up something for you when it was supposed to be Bill and Bill for you. So y'all are kind of my guinea pigs. So when I started this show, I wanted to have two guests because most of you have listened to some of my audio events with Damien. We would do Wishful Wednesday. We do Finding Your Purpose. And I can talk, guys. I can talk and not take a break. So instead of you having to hear me for a full hour, I wanted to make sure to have two guests so we can break it up. You can learn from people, they can hype themselves. And the first two shows I did, the first one with Melissa Houston, who's my emotional woman counterpart and my former coach, Damien, who he is just like the amazing best friend of LinkedIn that I could ever have, I guess you could say. We've done shows together. So I wanted to give them the full time while I was trying to work out the behind the scenes because I don't have a tech crew. I'm not overly techie, but I try. So forgive me if I overtalk or if I interrupt Nick, but I want to get started with my 3 questions I'm asking every guest. Okay. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready.
All right. And remember, this is not a test, so you can mess up or you can overtalk or however you want to. My first question for you is give me 2 things. Share with the audience, what are 2 things that you are proud of that you have accomplished?
Okay, so the obvious to me would be embracing my bipolarness and starting my business. But on the personal side would be quitting drinking and learning that I actually deserve all the good things that are happening to me in my life. I think for a long time, whether it was partially my diagnosis or partially past experiences or whatever else, I questioned all the good things that happened to me. And finally became aware that that was me actually questioning in my own worth. So that would be 2 things that I'm very proud of that maybe isn't like a surface, right? Because people know me for what they see on social media, right? So I share those parts of my life too, just not as much.
That's huge. And it's amazing because our life does not define us. If you've ever heard my voices in reentry, I would say the worst thing you did is not the thing that should be you. It shouldn't be who you're defined by and everything. But we grow through all those things. And I love that you shared that because those are not only things to be proud of, there are things that sometimes other people may not realize that their life could be better when they get to that point too. So thank you for being willing to share that. Now, would you be willing to share one thing that you're still growing in?
Well, there's a lot. That's why I'm like, stumped. I think, I'm actually, believe it or not, still really working on learning to let go. And I know that might be so strange because I pump Nick never in control, and letting go of control is one of the ways to take back control. But I guess don't pump it if you're not living it. And that's what I am still always striving to do better. Like I'm not very good at forgiving. No, I'm telling you right now, it's the truth. I mean, depending on the level of how badly I was hurt, I can forgive more easily, but I don't forget. And again, I think a lot of that is based on experiences. And I don't think that that's, something that's so great about me. But I think the good part about anything that people think are not so great about them is that they're aware of it. So therefore, they try harder at being better at it. So I am definitely still in a work of progress with that, for sure.
Now, do you see why it was exciting to have Nick on the show? I mean, can you even hear anybody else be as raw as she is when she's talking about that? You're so great. So Nick hosts so many things. She is a pro on this, and I've been lucky enough to be hosted by her, a guest on some of her things that she's been involved in. But to have her be vulnerable like this with me, I think that's really cool because she doesn't have to be, and she's choosing to do this on our show with all of you in the house. I mean, she sees a lot of familiar faces. There's a lot of comments from people that we know very well. There are some people that are new to us a little bit, or new to me, or new to her. Make sure that you're connecting with us. If you see LinkedIn user right now, that's Damian Kinsey. He's in the house supporting you too, Nick. Excited for that as well. So those were pretty intense questions for you. You like, I know, right? So,
Talk about coming out of the bullpen like, wow.
I love it. Let's blame it on a late Monday night as well, right? But thank you for that. I appreciate that. And it's important that we do see ourselves as raw as we want to. So the next question is a little more fun, unless you overthink it and you get too emotional as well, thinking of some other places, because we know that you have lived in other locations. So if you could travel anywhere right now, Nick, where would you go?
Isn't it hard? I'm the person you ask the question, but she only gives you like 3 answers instead of 1. You realize I did that for everyone so far, pretty much, right? I would love to go to Canada tomorrow because I really miss my sister and my nephews. I would really love to go to Trinidad because I haven't seen my dad in a little over 2 years. But those are the really would love to needs, but the really would want to Egypt.
Nice.
I really want to go to Egypt. I want to go see all the pyramids and
Oh,
I have this thing with history, and it's not that I'm a history buff by any means, but a lot of the times I think I was born in the wrong era. Like I am a big, um, I really like dated and period pieces, movies wise. And I wouldn't say I'm a big movies person, but like Bridgerton and Downton Abbey, and then throw me back to anything to do with the Vikings and knights, and you know, that's my yeah.
that's
Seriously, I do. I either see myself as the girl in all the gowns, but the father died. That's the king, and she can't become the queen because she's the princess until she gets married, and she's like, "No, get the hell out of here! I'm leading my army." Seriously, if I could put myself back in the past, that's exactly where I put myself. So yeah, I would want to go somewhere that I think has a really, really deep history of people and a culture that I'm completely unfamiliar with.
ah,
Like I feel that would be the best way for me to grow. Oh, and I'm just loving the comments. I see you all, and I just want to say thank you. I don't want to seem like I'm not. Kenny, I can't read that giant comment right now, but
oh
thank
man.
you. And Aaron Gibson, I adore you. You said you weren't techie. Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't either, and I'm still not too much. But everything that I've learned tech wise is because Aaron has been patiently by my side, encouraging me to press buttons. Just press the button and see what happens. Oh crap, did I just end the stream? But
That's
he's
okay.
so okay with it. So, and the gentleman, lady, I wrote down the name Naah, Asha,
Noah.
asked a really good question.
Noah.
How
Noah.
did I feel when you said that you didn't read the back of books? But I thought that that was a brilliant question,
Yeah.
given the fact that I'm sitting up here in the space of a publisher, and you wrote that we often take so long putting that together. So here's the really weird thing with me. I don't take long to write anything. I don't plan my posts. I literally sit down and write them in a minute and hit post. I've been lucky like that. Not lucky, sorry. That's my gift, and I'm trying to own that gift and do something good with it. Um, so the back of the books, honestly, by the time I have worked to 20 other people and read their stories, and I'm the one that had the vision for the book in the first place, I pretty much don't even have to think about what I'm writing in the back. That all came out from the 20 people that wrote with me. Does that make sense?
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. And I'm glad that you saw Noah's comment because he has been in the house each week with us. He and I are going to be sharing something before too long as well. He is huge in the reentry world, Nick. So you're going to love that as well. And, I appreciate that you made a comment that Kenny's message was super long because guess who's not being able to see some messages while I'm
Oh,
trying to do all
okay.
this stuff?
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
gremlins being
I know,
the
right?
gremlin self.
And the frustrating thing is it's like I get to the point where it's like, oh, I can catch up on comments, and then boom, they're just not there. So it's so frustrating. But yeah, it's exciting. It's cool stuff. But Nick, I want you to take a minute, as we might get some more questions in for you too, but I really want you to take a minute to hype yourself. Let's hear about Nick. Let's talk about some of these cool graphics you sent me. And I do got to apologize. I had to delete one of them because they were too many of the 10. So if I don't pull up the one that you're asking for, just remind me or tell me and I can pull it back up. But Nick's going to put a lot of these links in the page afterwards. Make sure to follow her, connect with her. Don't just follow her as a person because she's awesome by herself, but follow her business. Even if you don't see yourself as an author anytime soon, even if you don't think you really need that support, guys, who knows what tomorrow's going to bring, what next month's going to bring, what one of her anthologies is going to just speak to you. And you're going to be like, I want my words written down and I want Nick as my publisher. And if for some reason you connect with her and you're like, maybe I don't love that style, or maybe that's just not the one that I want, Nick is not going to be like hog tying you and making you be with her. She's going to give you information and advice possibly, or some direction. And she's going to say, yeah, maybe we don't want to be in the same book, but I wish you the best. So follow her business pages as well. Listen to some of her shows that she's on and really support her in a whole bunch of ways. So, okay, I already see a couple other questions coming in for you. So answer this one, Miss Nicole, and then go ahead and hype yourself for a minute.
Wow, who or what were your biggest influences? My goodness, that's a very good question. I wonder have I even really thought about that very much. Um, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't say my mom, truthfully. And she passed away in 2017. She was 61. I was 41. My son was 21. My grandmother was still alive. That's 4 generations. Um, I think what I saw in my mom, and she was, a divorcee. She raised us from the time I was 15 by herself. But I think the thing my mom always made me feel was that she was always incredibly proud of me. It didn't matter how big or small the accomplishment was, and it didn't matter whether or not I didn't do as well as I could have. It didn't even matter when I thought I made decisions that disappointed her. So she, without people say that their mom is their biggest cheerleader, well, my mom was my biggest cheerleader. And there are things that will stick with me forever. Um, Baby steps, give it to God. When it's too heavy to carry, He will hold it for you for a while. Don't be so hard on yourself, child. That was her favorite one. You're your own worst enemy. Because she knew that in some sense I was a perfectionist. So, and the one thing I probably didn't learn from her was turn the other cheek. And that
We were
was
talking about that before we went live.
My mom never, ever got into confrontation or arguments with people. Okay, if I'm in a mood, I will argue you to the ground. Trust me. So, definitely my mom.
I love that. Okay, I want you to take a minute and I want you to hype yourself because we've got a couple more questions coming and then we need to get to Bill Hobbs in a few minutes.
Yes.
So you still have time, my dear, but talk about you. Talk about you.
Okay, so we'll start by saying that Nick wouldn't be here if Nick didn't embrace her bipolarness, and she wouldn't be here if she didn't fall and break her left knee in 4 places, and those are facts. The other fact is guiding brilliant writers would not exist if it weren't for everybody else but myself. Truthfully, because I could go off and decide that I want to be a publisher, and if nobody's going to come publish with me, I'm just, well, a lonely girl in her publishing company. So I start there. And Own Your Story is such a redundant tagline. I understand it. Yet I have that there. Oh, couldn't she come up with something more unique? Not really. Sometimes you don't need to come up with anything more unique. Simple as that. Own Your Story. I started company beginning of this year. February 6th, I left my full-time employment in the skilled trades. Loved my job. Loved the team I work with. No regrets. Do I miss them? Yes. Am I sometimes concerned about security? Yes. Um, do I wake up some mornings going, holy crap, what did I do? Not so much anymore. I have reached a point where I'm very joyful and very grateful to have the opportunity that some may never have because they can't step away from their responsibilities long enough to give themselves a shot. And I'm really lucky to be able to do that and have the support system I have. So the 5 anthologies we did, and
See, I just made a mistake.
that's okay.
I love it. Trying to prep in the background and look at me messing you up.
Do not stress. Do not stress. People can find me and then they'll know what's going on. Just go to
Yes.
Guiding Brilliant Writers. Type in Guiding Brilliant Writers. I promise you that that page is the first thing that will come up. So real fast, what's going on? The sixth anthology that I'm launching starts this Saturday. We're going into deep dive April through June, July 1st. We're going to be launching We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. That co-author school is finished, but Jackie was asking me before the show if there's room, if anybody wanted to join. There are a couple more spots due to last minute vacancies. And no, the diagnoses are not only mental. People ask that because I'm bipolar. It is every type of diagnosis. There are people in the book with type 1 diabetes, people born with cerebral palsy. Jeff himself is in the book, writing now for the second time. Some are writing with me for the third and fourth time, actually. Um, and that's the thing. All of our stories cannot fit in a chapter. They probably can't even fit in a book. So that's coming out, and I am very excited about that book because it's closer to my heart, not than the other books, because the other books were important, but in a different way. So Legacy is the other one that's going to come back up again at the end of this year. It was last December and then December 23. So this year is going to be the third year running. What you had up just now is the new series called The Person Behind the Pen. That is every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. So tomorrow we'll be featuring the fifth. There were 62 co-authors that wrote in the 5 anthologies. All 62 co-authors have been offered the opportunity to come on and do a live reading of their chapter. Some will be on more than once because they're written in more than one book. I feel a lot of times we resonate with a story. We see a picture of the author and we really wish we knew more. A bio only tells us so much, and most times that bio is on a professional level. You coming to do this, you get to hear the author read their chapter to you. It takes on a very different meaning. You get to come on stage and meet them and speak with them yourselves. And I want, the whole point of the book is for people to be given that voice, to be seen and heard. When they get live like this, they can be felt. And that's what I really want to see happen.
I love
I
that.
can't even share. I'm so sorry. There's a lot coming. I'm going to be on Noni's show on April 30th. We are going to be speaking about bipolar disorder. We're going to be deep diving into what that really means, the symptoms, how it looks subjective. And one of the very good questions she brought up, and I've been mulling it over, is how do you ask for special accommodations in the workplace?
Mm.
And that is a toughy one, okay? Because that's not like you have a disability and, for example, I need a ramp or something like that, right? This is mental. So it's just a wee bit different trying to present to HR. Yes, this is one of my newest ventures. And I want it to be more than kind of like a support group, more of a meeting of the minds. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I'm not licensed. What I am is a woman who's been living with bipolar for as long as I can remember my childhood. Now that I could put a name on it. And it is a name. It doesn't have to be a label. It's a name. Okay, like my name's Nick. So this is for people who are bipolar with their support partner. And yes, you will have the opportunity to meet my support partner, my husband, during each of these Zoom calls, which I hope to be doing once a week for an hour. Yes, it's a lot, but honestly, if I didn't embrace it, I wouldn't be here. So I need to help some other people embrace it too, so they could go on living the lives they deserve. Okay, I can't talk as fast as you, Jackie. I should have just written down everything I was doing, so then this way you could read it.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't want anybody coming on the show thinking that, oh my gosh, I only got 3 minutes. I got to talk. You have time. But there is different people have different lifestyles, and you have one that is going in 5 million different directions, and that works for you.
I
Some people
love
have,
it.
yeah, some people have one focus and that's their area, and that's just as important. But I love you getting passionate and some little emotion in your voice, because that's what people want to hear. Now, Nick, you do have a lot more questions in the comments that I don't want you to not
I will,
answer. But go back in and write your comments to people. That way everybody can go back and see them. Noah has more, Ave has more. Now, Aves is in the YouTube, so go to my YouTube channel and make sure that you respond to those questions as well if they don't pop up when you see them, because they're just as important as well. And that's super awesome. My YouTube channel is at Jackie Hallberg LMSW. So if you do the @ symbol before it, it'll pop right up, and then you can go back if you miss anything with Nick or Bill. You can watch their show. You can check out Melissa and Damien's as well, and then you can answer all the different questions.
I found your channel and subscribed. So
yay, you're so sweet. I appreciate you. So, Miss Nick.
yes.
So you have so much going on, but you are also somebody that no matter if you have 79 things going on, you're going to stop if you get a text from somebody, if you get a phone call from somebody and they say, Nick, I need you. Nick, I have this question. They don't have to be one of your authors. They don't have to be somebody that you've done work with or that you're hoping will be a client someday. And that's something that you can't just make people do that authentically. You know, it comes from the heart, it comes from the soul. And that's one thing that I value so much about you, is that you're willing to be there for other people, even though some people probably haven't been there for you, or they've been there in a way that was not authentic, that possibly hurt you, whether it's business wise or family wise or living wise, and you haven't given up. You talked about that. I don't turn the other cheek though. Guess what? You do. It's just in a different way, because you're willing to be there for humans when other humans maybe aren't going to be there for other people. So I can't thank you enough for that. I think you are the first voice that I've really felt elevated mental wellness and mental health and mental illness and made it stigma free on LinkedIn. And that's huge. That's huge. I mean, I've lived my whole career working in the field, but you brought it to life with your lived experience. And anybody that doesn't understand lived experience, sometimes we're told, don't talk about that. What happens at home stays at home. You don't want them to know what your diagnosis is. You don't want them to know what's happened before. But guys, when we start talking about it, it becomes normal. And then you realize, oh my gosh, there's 3 other people right down the road that have that same thing. Or did you know these other people are experiencing that and they never told anybody because they were ashamed until that first person brought it up. So I cannot thank you enough for that. I mean, that alone is spectacular and amazing.
No
So
problem. Listen, I don't think that that was the intent. It was just to just to speak my truth. And if it ended up resonating, I'm happy. And yes, you know, I say it. I start my day with my 3 little pills. I took 2 naps today because that's how I function well, and I don't beat myself up about it anymore. And one of those naps was before the show, because I'm an old lady and I don't really like to be out of my bed after 9. But I know when something's important to me, I will make sure I do it. So yes, there's a lot that goes along with the bipolarness, but a lot of it comes with accepting yourself. I know we probably are out of time because we need to bring Bill up. So I just want to thank everybody. Please go follow my page, because I am launching, and I have to say it because I am launching another book very soon. And this one is for my client / author. That is my very first this year that I did launch March 15th, and he has signed 4 books with me this year. So I could not have been more thrilled to start my business off on that foot. So please, please, please go check out my page and see when that's coming. I'm having a blast doing his promotions, seriously.
So her blast is probably my nightmare tonight, because she sent me. So I love to read, but thrillers are kind of intense for me. I can't even watch movie trailers usually for a scary movie without having a nightmare about it later that night. So I have been very excited watching her promote this author and watching him be involved in different things. So she sent me the little clip, and I am going to play it. I hope it works, because I think it's a good segue, because we kind of got deep with you, Nicole, and I love that about you. But I also want you to be able to be like, oh my gosh, look at me promoting myself, because that's what this show is about. It's about getting to know all of Nick. And we could go on for like 72 more hours, but you're right. We do want to get into other things, but I want to play the promo and then we're on to Bill. Are you ready?
I am so excited, and thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for doing this. And thank you to everybody that's here and sending comments and messages. Super cool. Nick's going to go back and she's going to actually write stuff on them. But listen to this. Listen to this. If you don't get chills, I don't know who you are.
Thank you so much. I literally just started learning how to do these things. Like, I've been teaching myself pressing buttons. I scared the crap out of myself doing it.
Yeah, that's a trailer for a book. That's not for a scary movie. And she turned a book into a scary movie trailer. My cat, I played it before I made it live on here, before we went live. My cat, like, was scared. My cat's not scared of noises that are like on my computer, because I'm always listening to different things. And she like jumped up and looked at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, even animals know scary music, apparently. So, Nick, I told you I was going to let Bill come on stage with you. And just so you guys can say hi for a minute, and then I'm going to put you down, and then Bill is going to take the limelight. So get into those comments, answer some of these powerful questions. People want to know more about you, Nick, because you are amazing, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bill, I am so sorry. Like, I kind of like sucked up some of your time here.
No,
we don't just sit back and let you keep talking. I love listening to you. And Jackie, you asked some of the best questions. I tell you what, before we started, folks, I want you to know this. I wrote in the comments to Jackie that I feel like a thorn between two roses being on this show with these two ladies. So just no, it's wonderful. It really is.
What was the reply from me?
What did she say? Do you remember?
Pardon me?
What did she say to your thorn between two roses?
Something about there's a reason that those are there, and I'm still trying to ponder that one. I'm sitting there looking at my thumb, thinking it's probably because it's going to poke me and I'm going to bleed. So
I think every rose needs its thorn, and I think thorns are there to protect the beauty of. So I say that's good and good.
Good and good. I love it.
Well, Nick, have a wonderful rest of your show. Bill and Jackie, again, thank you so much for everything.
Really thank you. Nick, it was wonderful listening to you, and thank you for opening up to us. That was wonderful.
A pleasure. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was good stuff, wasn't it?
That's going to be a hard act to follow, let me tell you.
And that's the thing. There's no act. There's no follow. It's just your time to shine, Mr. Bill Hobbs. I mean, come on. It's not competitive. Did you not listen to Jackie's rules at the beginning of the show while you were backstage?
Oh, I did.
So, Bill, before you get into talking about some of the things you're passionate about and even answering those questions, you kind of were asking before we even went live, you were like, Nick, how did I meet you, or how did we get together, or something like that? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
But you didn't ask me how you and I met. Do you remember?
I'm trying to think back. It was one of the events, but I'm trying to put my finger on which one it was. It's been a while ago. But I will tell the crowd that if we would have done this last week, it would have been the second anniversary of the time where Jackie and I actually met in person and had dinner over in Council Bluffs, Iowa one night on one of her road trips. So
funny thing, I almost didn't meet Bill. Do you realize I didn't even understand how involved he was in the reentry world? Do you remember? I don't even know if you remember this, Bill. Do you remember your first comments on almost all of my posts for the first couple of months?
Oh my gosh. Jackie, I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. What are you talking about?
Oh, see, that's the problem with my ADHD brain. I remember almost everything, and sometimes I wish it'd just come out. You commented on all my necklaces I used to wear.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yes, I do too. Remember that.
I'm
You
like,
had,
here
you
I'm
had a
talking
different
about
necklace.
mental wellness and prison reentry and all this, and all you're talking about is my necklaces.
Mhm. You had a different necklace on every time you came on, and you kept. It was like, where in the world does this woman get all these necklaces? And some of them were pretty flashy. They were pretty cool.
They
So,
were. So I will answer that question. I get all of my jewelry from thrift stores or from people gifting it to me. I don't spend more than $1 or $2, maybe $3 on jewelry. And the fact that you would comment on that, I'm like, okay, is he borderline stalker or is he really into jewelry? And I'm like, this guy is so nice because he keeps complimenting my jewelry. He's not just making just body comments or something like happens in DMs sometimes to females. And I was just so excited that you kept up with the passion. Like, I remember the last time you wore that one or this. And I'm like, okay. So then we finally talked and I'm like, guess what? I'm really coming to your state. And lo and behold, he was willing to drop what he was doing basically and make sure, because this man is a busy man. He may say, oh, I just volunteer here and there. No, he's a very, very busy man. And you're going to hear more about him in just a minute. And he was willing to hang out with me. He was willing to kind of hang out with some strange lady. He's only really seen her necklace and heard me and Damien on Wishful Wednesday and a few other things. And we got to hang out together. Two years and a week ago.
yep.
That's so cool.
Had a nice dinner in a little Mexican restaurant, kind of a little mom and pop shop over in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And I was more worried about you being by yourself on that road trip. And it was like, Jackie's tough as nails. I don't have to worry about her. So
I appreciate that. So for those of you that don't really know me yet, I travel solo often. I have just been to all 50 states as of August of last year, and I did 26 out of the 50 by myself. And Bill was one of the people that I've gotten to meet when I road trip. I have road tripped multiple states by myself. When I was in Alaska, I did 1,900 miles in 6 days all by myself. I don't recommend it. I really don't. And I'm pretty hardcore with road tripping by myself. But Bill, not only did you make that night fun because I had somebody to go out to dinner with that I was looking forward to seeing and everything, the intensity of what you talk about in such a relaxed vibe is just so cool. And like, you cemented our friendship that night. So I picked this picture for us to show because that's my favorite one of the night. That was inside the restaurant, but it was kind of hazy. But every time I asked him what his favorite one is, he said it was the one outside the restaurant. But look at my big old chubby cheeks in that picture. I don't like that one, but he liked that one better. So I wanted to show you both of them tonight because we had our 2-year anniversary and the memories still come. He checks in on me. I check in on him. We send each other different things that are going on. And he shows up whenever he can for the different audio events or shows like this. If you were here last week, he was in the comments. And it's just cool to be able to have friends that are not just connections. They're not somebody you just want to try to buy something from or have them be a business client, but they're real people that care about the world. They care about you as a human and they want you to be happy and they want you to be safe and all this kind of thing. So Bill, I cannot even start to thank you for your friendship, both professionally and personally. It's been amazing and I value you so very much. I do want to ask you those same 3 questions. Are you ready?
I was afraid you were going to say that.
You're like, oh, she says she remembers everything, but she's going to forget this one, right?
I was hoping. I had my fingers crossed here. So
I love it. It's not a test. I promise. It's not a test. Okay. So first question for you, my friend. 2 things that you are proud of.
Well, Jackie, I tell you what, when we talked before the show started, I mentioned my family, which I am very proud about, but you limited me and said that I couldn't talk about my 2 girls individually to make both of them what I'm proud of. So I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit. And one of the things that I'm very proud of is the fact that if you see the sign behind me, it says RISE. I sit on the board of it, that nonprofit here in the state of Nebraska, and it's basically to assist individuals coming out of incarceration. And I'm very proud of the organization and the people that run it. I am not the boots on the ground guy. I want everybody to know that, okay? There are a lot of people that do a lot of work. And then the other thing that I'm proud of is I got to thinking about this when Nick was talking. And a couple of years ago, I started a podcast called How Do I Get My Life Back? And the whole basis for that podcast is allowing individuals to tell their story about reentry. And it gives voice to individuals that otherwise would be voiceless. And I really believe that, I've gotten some nice comments about the podcast. Every once in a while you get pushback because of, get tough on crime, that aspect. But, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. But, and then oddly enough, my podcast started 2 years ago, right before you and I met. And the lady that whose name is up there, Carla Walker, was my very first guest on my podcast, and she was nice enough to come back and be my second anniversary guest. So, and Carla is just a wonderful individual. She and I both served on the board of RISE together for quite some time.
Nice. Follow his podcast. Go back and listen to them. So I have an amazing intern that's been with us since the end. Actually, I met him the last day of work before I went to Alaska in August. And he's been with us. And then, Bill, I don't know if I told you, but we hired him in January to be a reentry success coach. So he started as internship and then he moved into the paid position, but he graduates this coming Friday. His name's Zach. He's been in the comments on some of the other shows. He actually, part of his internship was to actually listen to your former podcast. So he has been on there, he's been listening, and he was excited to hear that you were going to actually be on the show tonight. So I want to let you know that people are listening to you, people are learning from you, and people want to hear that voice of yours. And you have not only a lot to say, you have a lot of passion. And if you guys didn't see how I acknowledged Bill, he's like this calm rock star. Like he comes across so unassuming, like, yeah, here I am. I'm just here to help and serve. And boom, he drops the knowledge like no other. So Bill, talk a little bit more about your passions, about why you're involved in so much and how other people can help as well.
Well, Jackie, a long time ago, I read a book called Purpose Driven Life. And in the very first chapter of that book, I think it's on the first page, and maybe it's in the first paragraph, it says it's not about you. And for most of my life, it was about me. And that struck a chord with me. And from that point on, I decided that maybe instead of worrying about everything that involved me, maybe I needed to understand that I'm really not relevant when it comes to what's going on in the world. But being able to help others, and especially people coming out of incarceration right now, is a big step. And along with RISE, I also work with a local church here in Lincoln called Northern Lighthouse Church. Excuse me. And we do, they have reentry programs there. And I teach a class called Emerging Leaders. And oddly enough, one of the books that I focused on during that class was written by a fellow that is listening to this tonight, Noah Asher. And the book is Chaos, Overcoming the Overwhelming. And I got rave reviews because of that book. And Noah did a wonderful job. And he actually even came on and zoomed into the class and allowed the class to ask him questions. So that's my forte. I like to help people. I like to connect people. And, I just love to sit back and listen to you and Damien, Wishful Wednesday, and Tripping with Jax. And I love to listen to Damien talk about the 2350 effect. I learned so much from the two of you. It's just amazing. So I'll leave it at that.
I love that. You don't need to just hype us, though. Again, you hype yourself, Bill. I mean,
I get it.
There are times when he's messaged me or he's talked to me and he's like, yeah, I just drove like an hour and a half in a snowstorm because somebody needed to get to work. And I went and picked him up. And I'm like, do you know how few people would go 5 minutes out of their way to pick somebody up that had to go to work? And the stuff that you do behind the scenes, you're not like putting up your little poster like, hey, say how good I'm doing and give me a gold star because I'm amazing. And we need more humans like you, Bill. I think all of us have various paths that sometimes bring us to make better decisions into adulthood, and sometimes they don't make us have the best decisions. And working in the field of reentry, you and I and many other people get to see some of the best and the worst of all of humanity. And you still have this smile on your face, and you see the hope for so many people that don't always have the hope. And that's why I think so many people burn out in this kind of a field, because they just want to see the successes that they think people should have. And success looks different to all of us. Success might not be never committing another crime or never having another issue that happens, but it might be doing better in other capacities or doing less hurtful crimes, if that makes sense. And that's the thing that a lot of us need to remember, is that our worth is our worth. And we deserve to share that with other people. It's okay if you don't have a podcast or you don't have a business like Nick. Your voice is important no matter how you use it, as long as you're doing it to help others. And I can't thank you enough, Bill, because you've grounded me in a lot of ways, grounded in a good ways, not like I got punished, but like, just reminding yourself to come back and to really think about different things. And I love that about you. And he's so funny because he's just like, yeah, I've got a face for radio. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. You do have a voice for radio. Isn't his voice like amazing, guys?
Jackie, you make me feel good. I won't be able to wear a cap now for the next 3 days because my head swelled up so big. I just want you to know that. But Jackie, before we completely run out of time tonight, I do want to hype something, if you let me.
Yes.
And that is, if you look over my shoulder, there's a poster hanging on my wall behind me, and it's RISE. It's the largest nonprofit in the state of Nebraska. April 24th is our annual giving day. And what I want the individuals that are listening to this show tonight to understand is what RISE is. And it's an in-prison program to start with. Once we graduate individuals from the in-prison program, then we have reentry specialists, which are called community navigators. They start working with the incarcerated individuals 18 months from the door, and they help them line up housing. They help them line up employment. They pick them up at the door. They're provided with a cell phone, a go bag, and we try to help them get reestablished and work with their families. We also have what's called the RISE Family Program. And the family program works with anybody that's justice impacted. But what we try to do, or when I say we, what Jerry Knight and Randall Robbins tries to do, is they try to reconnect the families with the incarcerated individuals and let the families know what their incarcerated loved one is going through. And on a weekly basis, they work with anywhere from 35 to 40 people at a shot. They have classes in both Lincoln and Omaha. And then they have women's wellness coffees and men's wellness coffees, where they bring individuals together that are justice impacted, where they have a safe community where they can talk. And that's very important for some of these folks, because they're ostracized. When their loved one goes to prison, they get stigmatized, just like the individual that's in prison. We also have a RISE Business Academy. And I think Noah put in one of the comments that it's a shark-style business pitch. And people have the opportunity to not only learn how to create their own businesses, but we provide them with legal assistance. We help them form their LLC or their 501c3. We have mentors that come beside them, and they do a business pitch and they earn money for their business. And so it helps them get their foot off the ground. But we've got 39 businesses that have been started that are still in operation since the program started in 21. And then we have our policy and advocacy group that go out and work with the legislators and go in front of the legislators and the senators to talk about things that need to be addressed within the criminal justice system. It was a 5-year battle for Jasmine Harris and Olivia Larson here just recently, trying to get voting rights back for individuals coming out of incarceration. And then after it was passed through the legislature, the Attorney General stepped up and said that his opinion was that it wasn't constitutional and they had to go to court and battle it. But they won, and the individuals now coming out of incarceration automatically get their voting rights back. So RISE does a lot of things. It encompasses a lot of different avenues. And there's a lot of people that work behind the scenes very diligently to make all that happen. It started out with 5 people. Now they're up to over 30 employees, and they're really going strong. So I guess my plug for RISE is, if Jackie, if you want to put that QR code back up and people want to scan it, the only way that Rise stays in existence and helps more people is through donations. So with that, if anybody has questions, I'll be more than happy to address them.
Yay.
Cornhuskers. Now, hang on a minute, just a minute. Nebraska is the state formerly known as a state that had a football team. Now we're working back to that, but we had a few bleak years, and I'll be the first one to admit that. So,
oh, I love it. I love it. Bill, everything you talked about, first of all, I mean, y'all need to pay him to just be your advertising person. I mean, he wasn't even looking at no teleprompter or anything talking about all those services Rise did. And I had not even heard of Rise, guys. I have been in the reentry field for a very long time, way before they even called it reentry. And the things that he shared that they do, I'm like, every single reentry person in the world should know about Rise and should model some of the state work after that. So thank you so much for hyping them and sharing us. We can go back into the comments and actually put the link so they can go right to that donation page, but really to learn more about Rise as well, and to see what maybe they can do in their own communities. You've had some good questions as well that are coming up. Abe started asking a lot of questions and he's saying, you've answered them, but yeah, I think there's some stuff. But one of the things I also want to shout out is Noah Asher is somebody that you connected me to, because you're like, how do you not know him? We've been talking and his book is so good. So Noah, make sure to put a link to your book as well in the comments. We would love that. And like I said, we've got something kind of cool coming up here before too long. And that would not have happened without me knowing Bill. I mean, you never know who your connections on social media are going to turn into be friends or to connect you with other people. And
exactly.
I got to tell you, Bill, I mean, I've been around the block a while. And before I started getting really active on LinkedIn and connecting with people outside of my hometown, I kind of thought I knew a whole lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff. And then you start getting these global perspectives. You get other state perspectives. You get people with different lived experience at different levels that they teach you things literally every single day. Oh. And that's one of the things. And even Nick wrote a comment about, she didn't start with being a business owner. She started in a way that worked for her and she went up. I mean, it's not a competition. It's not you do more than I do, or I'll never be able to do as much as you do. It's about connecting with the right people, the right businesses, the right agencies, the right nonprofits. And that's when the world becomes a better, safer place. We become more connected, like I talked about in the beginning of the show. And Bill has been a tremendous connector behind the scenes and really trying to make sure people know what their worth is and to let them know that he's not only out there, doing the work, but he's here willing to help other people get started and to really think about some of that. So we could get so sidetracked with sports and talking. If you don't know Gregory, Bill, I mean, you're not going to win with sports trivia with him. That's all I got to say. I don't even care if it's from your own state, because he's got the knowledge and he's pretty amazing with that. He's actually going to be a guest in a few weeks as well. So you'll get to reciprocate and talk all kinds of questions for him.
I'll be watching for that one. I really will. But, Jackie, as you talk about connections, I'm going to be the first one to admit to you that, I learned a long time ago that the way anybody is successful is you surround yourself with people that are a lot smarter than you are. And, through LinkedIn and through some of the other endeavors, I've been able to do that. And, I've been connected with individuals in other states that they work to provide health insurance for individuals coming out of incarceration. If Medicaid is not an option, they actually work with them to get health care, low-cost health insurance. So, I mean, there's a lot of different avenues. I mean, there's a fellow in North Carolina that I'm connected with that works in a county jail, but their county jail is their work release and reentry program for individuals coming out of incarceration. Nebraska doesn't do that. So you see a lot of different avenues, and then you work with, reentry and restorative justice, and it's an amazing program. Like I said, I learn more, every time I'm on one of these shows or listen to one of these shows. I learn more every day. And if I can take what I hear from your programming or from Damien or from Noah Asher or from a myriad of other people on these programs and pass that along to somebody else, I fulfilled my purpose in life. And that is to let other people find out where they can go for resources. So.
Did I say he was going to drop some knowledge, or did I say he was going to drop some knowledge? No thorn in you, Bill. I put up Noah's comment here. There are some other questions. So if you could go back also on the YouTube page and on here to see what has been posted and respond, feel free to do that, because we need you to answer this question that Noah put out there, because this is another thing that Mr. Bill probably doesn't even take time to think about what his needs are. I'd love you to answer this. And then it's going to be time for you to go take a break. And then I will go ahead and wrap up this show. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know you're waiting to hear Bill's answer as well. So I'm trying to babble for a minute so he can think a little bit more, but I'm just going to talk for just a minute or two once he's done. So we might go just over the hour, but stick with us. It'll be good stuff. Are you ready, Bill? Are you willing to answer those questions for us?
Sure. And I'm going to take a kind of a left turn here, Jackie, because it says, what do I need? And personally, I don't need anything. I look at my podcast, listen to it, subscribe to it, so my numbers go up. I'm going to go on live on YouTube here in another couple of weeks, so you'll have a different avenue to listen to it besides Spotify. But what I need more than anything is for people to really be serious about Rise. And that is, you can go to the website. It's www.seeusrise.org. And you can volunteer. And I don't care if you're in Michigan, California, New York. We have online volunteers. When our in-prison program, our participants are working on their business pitches and writing their resumes and putting together their cover letters, you have the opportunity to read those online and give them feedback, do research for them. And we need more individuals to come alongside those folks and help them with their business pitches. And then just like the Rise Business Academy, they get up in front of everybody during their graduation and pitch their business. And they get to earn money that they get as a check after they get out to assist with their reentry. So not only do we need donations, but we need volunteers. So with that, Jackie, I will turn it over to you. And I tell you what, I appreciate the opportunity to come on board. I really do. Like I said, I have a voice for radio, or a face for radio, I should say. But I love doing this for you. And I was excited when you asked me. And I love being on here with Nick. She's a wonderful lady. And I love to hear her story. I'm glad that there are authors in the world like her and Noah Asher, because, if it wasn't for spell check, I'd never make it past a page. I will guarantee you. So it's just wonderful to see the work that comes out of these two.
Oh, Bill, I love it. So Noah, I'm sorry. He's just not going to admit that he needs anything. He's going to turn it around to get people to volunteer and help with other people. Bill, my dear friend, thank you. You were amazing, as I knew you would be. Each and every one of us are amazing. And please don't ever put yourself down and say, I'm not going to talk like Bill because I don't have this voice or this experience. I'm not going to talk like Nick because I didn't do this. Guys, we're all important. And Bill, you wrapped us up pretty great tonight. So thank you a million times. You needed to have your face out there, not just that beautiful voice of yours. So thank you for being on Just Jax Guests. I'm going to remove you, but please go back in those comments. There's some really cool things that you need to read to hear just how wonderful people think you are.
Well, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. And thanks for all the folks for being on here. Keep supporting Jackie on this page, because she's going to have some wonderful folks coming up.
Oh, thank you, Bill. I'll see you in a few, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.
Wow. Did I tell you we were going to have some fun tonight? We got deep. We had some laughs. We learned a few things. That's what this show is about. It's not about a popularity contest or how big your fan club is or your follower count is. It's really about getting to know people that deserve to be known. And I want to hear from you. I want you guys to be a guest if you feel comfortable with it. I want you to be able to talk about things that are important to you. It might not even be in the business world. You might be somebody that has an amazing business, but you're more passionate about something you volunteer in, or something you recently learned about, or something that you want to give other people information about. And that's the beauty of shows like this, is that we don't have necessarily a focus. It's more of a, let's come together, let's learn, let's talk, let's get to see people in a couple different areas. So if you want to be one of the guests, I would love to have you so much. Just reach out to me. I am booking into the end of May, and all of June is open. So we've got plenty of slots available. You don't have to be at a certain level. You don't have to be at a certain this or a certain that. There's some amazing people coming up. We've got all kinds of different topics. Next week, actually, he was our very first comment of the show tonight. Mr. Charles Phillips is going to be in the house with us. I am excited to have him here because, as you guys know, travel is really important to me. And he has actually been able to not just travel outside of his hometown, outside of his state, outside of his country, but he has actually lived outside, and then he's recently came back to the United States. And I can't wait to share his information, and you guys get to see him in a different capacity. He may try to throw a couple different languages at us because he's learning a whole bunch of different words, but we're going to try to make sure that we can have him explain all the cool stuff in ways that a lot of us can understand. Because, guys, this is a global platform. You may not speak English as your first language, and you may want to hear some of that other stuff. And then we have another amazing guest. He's another guy that just flies under the radar. He is my dear friend Derek, and I also got to meet Derek in person, so we'll be able to talk about that. And he does something near and dear to my heart as well, and he does the restorative justice work. He does some reentry work in the state of Arizona. So I think you're going to love him just as much as everybody else, and you need to know him. He does stuff way under the radar that you want to know about. This is what we want to do here. We want to connect. We want to get people going together. Some of you guys know that my focus is on mental wellness, and I may not say the word mental wellness every time, but getting together with other humans, having these connections, learning from other people, growing like this, guys, it helps us. Our brain doesn't want to be angry and sad and full of anxiety all day long. It wants to be full of hope. It wants to learn new things, and it wants that connection. It wants to feel needed and wanted, and it wants to be able to give back. Sometimes we've just built those walls up, and then the stress just kind of gets to us a whole bunch more. So I'm excited that you guys were here. I could keep going on and on about so many things that were amazing about our current guest, our former guests, and the guests that are coming. But make sure that you tune in each Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know it's not the best time for some of you. I mean, we had Annie on here. He's on the other side of the world. We have people in different countries. We have people that are going to need to watch the playback. So please watch the playback. Go back through some of these comments. We're seeing people post some of their businesses and their books and some of the ways that you can contribute to and donate to Rise and different things that are out there. You deserve to have that same kind of support. So let me know if you want to be a guest sometimes. Keep coming back to the show. And if you have an event, make sure to invite me. I'll do my best to try to attend and try to share your information, but also connect with people that were willing to be here tonight, that are writing these comments and they're sharing different things. Those are the people that want to connect with you as well. So I hope this is a good experience for you all. Thank you so much for being here. I do apologize going just a little over our hour, but it was worth it with these two guys. All right, guys, I am going to be out of here now. I want you guys to have a super great rest of your night. I was supposed to probably talk about 7 million other things because, I kind of like to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but I think it was way better tonight being able to just really make sure that you guys got to meet two people that are super important to me and two people that I think needed to have themselves highlighted a whole bunch more than they usually do. So with that, I'm going to thank Nick and Bill one more time. I'm going to thank all of y'all in the comments. I'm going to take some time to go back and respond to those. If I do not respond to your comment, please reach out to me directly and be like, why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you acknowledge my comment? And as long as it was a respectful college, I will definitely be responding to you. So thank you guys so much. I am going to head on out. Have a great day, night, morning, whatever it is for you. And please come back next week. Thank you guys.